I am so tired of you acting like you speak for the people of the state of Indiana or the city of Indianapolis. You do not speak for me or anyone I know. Now listen, you two jerks. Jerks on the right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Everybody, we had a little bit of a confusion around the time difference, but we're all good now. You may notice that Daisy's not here. If you remember yesterday, we had mentioned that her husband is having surgery today, so she is taking care of him. Prayers are welcome and accepted freely for that surgery. And so we have Chad.
Handsome. Daisy's handsome today.
We have Chad Benson today from the Chad Benson Show. And you may remember Chad, if you were paying attention the week that I moved to South Carolina, he helped fill in on a couple of days. And he's going to do that again this week, today and Friday. And
how was South Carolina? Are you loving it?
There is snow. There is snow all over the ground this morning in South Carolina on the coast. And it is so weird. I know it's true for Florida too. Like people are, and New Orleans is like, people are skiing.
Trump's back. So that's gotta be it.
Is that what it is?
It is. The hell is frozen over now. But isn't it crazy? Right. Like I took the dogs down and it's 1.
It's
in
1?
It's 1 with the wind chill. It's 1. Currently it is 6, feels like 1.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, it's like 35 here. So it's not going to stick for very long. And I think it's over. I think we have maybe, I don't know, like an inch, not even. It's not terrible. And it looks pretty. So I'm fine. It just needs to go away. Because I was really looking forward to a lot of sunshine here. And I did not expect this. So that is not okay. Anyway, today on the show, we are going to be talking about Trump's first day because it was completely lit. He was very, very busy. We're going to talk about the crazy prayer service, the national prayer service that Trump and Vance and all the Trump kids went to that was completely ruined by the psychotic bishop who was delivering the sermon. And we're going to, oh my gosh. And we're going to talk more about the whole Elon Musk Nazi salute thing, which continues to be everything that the media is consumed by, because of course. Absolutely. I mean, it's the dumbest story, and I can't believe we have to spend more time on it because we talked about it yesterday, and I thought, this is stupid. Everyone with a brain knows exactly what happened here. We don't need to cover it ad nauseum, but apparently we do.
The Third Reich has begun with the Trump.
Right.
And all of his people.
And I do want to mention quickly that if you need to get hydrated and you don't like just plain old water, please consider visiting nativehydrate.com/chicks to get yummy hydration and all the electrolytes you need. You can save up to 44% and get free shipping when you try Native Path Hydrate at nativehydrate.com/chicks.
Do they have several different flavors?
They do. They have the peach mango, tangerine, and wild berry, and they are all so freaking good.
I'm gonna give me some tangerine.
It is so yummy. It makes getting your hydration and your water like a joy instead of just getting plain old water. Yeah, it's the best.
It's like my wife, she gets mad. You drink so much iced tea. I'm like, I'm drinking water. The tea just happens to flavor the water.
Right. Do you drink it super sweet?
A little bit. She thinks it's too sweet, but you know.
Yeah.
I gotta have something.
She's worried about your sugar content.
Or when I do the little pink packets.
See that? Then you're taking the cancer packets.
That's what she says. It's funny. My doctor's like, he'd have to have like, I don't know, 1,000 pounds a day of that for really to make a difference. So settle down.
Really? Okay. Well, that's encouraging. Okay. All right. Good to know. We're going to kick it off with some really, really, really good news that will not be of any necessary meaning to you because you missed out on the original announcement. But like a few weeks back, we had one of our longtime audience members send us a plea to help find her missing mom. Her mom went missing back in December. And so we had like this missing person picture that we had showed to our audience and just hoping that somebody maybe had seen her. And I'm happy to report that she has been found safe. Elizabeth's mom was found safe, and she sent us this email saying, I just wanted to let you know that my mother was found safe today. My family and I are forever grateful for everyone's thoughts and prayers. I'm beyond relieved, even though we have a long journey of healing and rebuilding our family after this. I believe through the power of everybody's prayers, we were able to find her safely today. So thank you so much. I am forever grateful to everybody. And I just love, I mean, what a way to start off the show, right? Like, is that not the best news ever?
It's crazy.
I know. And so I don't know how much we helped,
but or
just, the background that we got was just that her mom has gone through a lot and she's been troubled and she just vanished. And so they were really, really worried about her. I don't know any more than what you're, hearing and seeing on your screen right now, but man, we're just grateful for the good news. So
what happens
wanted to make sure that we shared it. Yeah, that's right. Right. I mean, I don't know how much our community or us contributed to finding her, but, we wanted to follow up since we put the plea out there and asked for everybody's prayers. We wanted to absolutely follow up about that. All right. So tons to get to. And we're going to kick it off actually with a tweet and a video that Donald Trump put out yesterday. He said, America is back. Every single day, I'll be fighting for you with every breath in my body. I will not rest until we've delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. Are you feeling pumped?
I am pumped. You know what? I told everybody, I'm not a pomp and circumstance guy, so I didn't care about a lot of that stuff. I care. I said, look, I've been to weddings that are amazing and they got divorced quick. And I've been to weddings that are and they stayed together forever. I care about the after. That's what I'm excited about. And it feels like, okay, the first day you're going to get a lot of the chaos and craziness, but now it's go time.
Right. And I feel like his first day was filled with action. And a lot of serious action in the form of executive orders and just changes across all kinds of agencies, and we'll get to all of that. But the video that he released along with this tweet was just one of those like really well-produced videos that just makes you feel so pumped about his presidency. So here that video is. I mean,
it's like a movie trailer,
right?
This
right?
Friday, get ready for an action movie. The Return.
I freaking love that. That's the kind of stuff that gets me so fired up. And then just to your point, I mean, you said, the pomp and circumstance is one thing, but like, let's see the action. Let's see the results. And I'm telling you, he was very, 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 very busy yesterday. He kicked it off by enacting a 90-day pause on all foreign aid. They're going to review all the foreign aid programs, and only those that align with our interests will be kept. And I mean, that alone, that's amazing.
Absolutely. 100. And both sides of the aisle have even heard go, yeah, I like this, because I think the whole UNRWA thing with the UN and the money that ended up going to Palestine, I think that opened up a lot of people's eyes that we're giving a lot of money, plus the Taliban. How many millions of dollars are we giving to aid that ends up with the Taliban is also raised a lot of questions out there, not just from Republicans, because it's all about no, it's not. It's about America first, period. And both sides of the aisle have signaled, this is a good idea that we look at some of this stuff.
Well, because that some of it has just been like kind of on the books forever, and it's like on an auto repeat basically, and no one's reviewed it forever. And so the fact that they're even just going to, yeah, exactly. And so the fact that they're going to sit and review it all and decide, well, maybe this doesn't make sense. Like, why are we giving Canada so much money? That makes no sense to me. And so I love this. This was just one of many things he did yesterday. The other thing that we found out is that he's planned his first trip. He's going to hit North Carolina and California. He wants to see the disaster zones for himself. And so this is, to me, this is just showing leadership right out of the gate, because this is something you basically had to beg Biden to do at any time there was a disaster. It's like, is he going to show up or not? You know?
Well, I think part of that also, as we learned, is I'm sure he wanted to in his moment of clarity. The reality is you couldn't turn him loose. Could you imagine him wandering the hills of Pacific Palisades, right? Where'd he go? Oh, he fell off the cliff. Oh, this didn't work well. You can't have that. There was, I mean, the Mike Johnson thing where he was like telling him, hey, you signed this. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. That should have showed you everything right there. The reason he didn't go to these places is because he couldn't.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, because did he ever even go to East Palestine in Ohio?
I don't know if he did. I don't think he did.
If he did either. I can't remember him going.
Buttigieg, Mayor Pete.
That's right.
Did.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we're going to see such a difference. We're already seeing such a difference. I mean, the fact that that Trump was working every moment of the day, and, Biden was constantly calling Lids like at 10 a.m. and then you just wouldn't have any idea what he was doing. And Trump is constantly out in front of the press, constantly answering questions, constantly making himself available. It's such a huge, huge, glorious, perfect difference.
I think it was David Axelrod and Anderson Cooper both saying, what is refreshing is the fact that he's taking tons of questions and he's sitting there. Oh, what are you giving me? World Health Organization? Yeah, I'll sign that. He's doing all those things. And it's like, hey, what's going on? What, you got a question for me? Like it's some sort of Q&A in a backstage of a concert or something. And they're like, that's refreshing.
Yeah. They have to admit that. And I'm glad that they are, because it's completely different. And, Trump isn't given note cards of who to call on. And he doesn't have like a teleprompter for all of these, these impromptu pressers that he's doing. He's just talking. He's just answering questions off the cuff, because that is what a leader should be able to do. And I 100%. Cannot believe that we went through the past 4 years having somebody that is just that bad at it. You know what I mean? He was so bad at it. I can't
wait to see the books that have come out. Not the Kamala $20 million advance book. The book that's going to come out from the 2 or 3 people that were inside of the cocoon that protected him, that are going to get it off their chest. And we're going to find out, oh my God, he didn't know where he was half the time. We're going to find out stuff that I think is going to make us really question, first of all, even more the press. What were you guys doing? And secondly, you guys are all unelected officials and you were essentially running the country, and nobody had the right mind to speak up inside of this and be honest.
That's the thing. If there are books that are written by those insiders, why would they happily just say, look, I was a loser who had no integrity, who kept this undercover? Why would they want that kind of attention?
A $2 million advance.
Oh my God. That's disgusting.
It's reality. You hand me $2 million, a lot of people will sell themselves out for that. And then you've got other people that are behind the scenes saying, you better keep your mouth shut or else you're done for. Not only will you not work here, I'll make sure you're never going to work at a Dairy Queen, like kind of thing. So people are terrified. But now that we know and it's all out in the open, we're going to find out stuff that I think is going to make us go, you could sit here and talk about January 6th and fake electors and this, that, and the other. You guys actually perpetrated something that was absolutely the worst thing that we have seen when it comes to our country and democracy, by allowing unelected officials to run stuff while the doddering old man doddered.
It is so infuriating. When we talked yesterday, because you mentioned the whole Mike Johnson thing, where he talked about, asking Biden, why did you sign off this natural gas ban or whatever? And Biden had no clue that he did it. But we were furious at Mike. Like, why didn't he come forward with that story when it happened? Why is he only just talking about it and like acting like, well, now that the Washington Post has said it out loud, then I guess it's okay for me to? Where was he the day that it happened?
I think the thing was, at that point in time, everything was already out. Everybody knew what was going on at that point in time. I think at that point in time, you're just holding on for dear life. And some of that stuff you probably knew. Trump's like, just let it go, because he's going to be exposed at some time. And let me expose him. And he was obviously on stage. He was exposed big time. So, but everybody knew it. I mean, I don't know about you guys. We went back to July of 23 when I said he is, from my sources, he's incapable of running. He doesn't know where he is half the time. And I have a friend who was in the White House said he one night he asked when he gets to go home. Just walking around, and they're like, "Sir, you are home."
God. Oh my God.
And I said he will not run again. And that was 23, so it was like a year and a half before. And I said, I'll put my house on it.
Wow. Well, I mean, yeah, and that's the thing. It's everyone that was honest with themselves knew it, saw it, recognized it. And it's the cover up that if there's not accountability for all the people that helped cover that up, that's going to be a huge disappointment. Because that's the most negligent thing that's ever happened, I think, in the history of this country when it comes to, because everything exploded. Everything went wrong during the last 4 years. And it's clear why that is. It's clear that there's someone to blame, a lot of people to blame for covering that up. And it's just, I cannot believe that these people might then get book deals where they get to talk about it.
They're probably already across the street at think tanks. They've already got massive, because it's the problem is we're asking the people on both sides of the aisle to hold each other accountable, knowing they're going to screw up both sides of the aisle and do something that goes against the reality of what the people want. And so them holding themselves accountable, right or left, it isn't going to happen the way that we want. And that's what sucks.
Yeah, it really does suck because it was just so egregious. You know what I mean? It was the most egregious thing ever.
You know what?
Chat,
what? I often wonder this. As you and I, we're talking heads. We have fun, right? We're not journalists. We knew about this.
Oh my God.
There was, you mean to tell me there was no journalist that's like, I'm going to be the next Woodward and Bernstein. I'm going to be the next person they're going to talk about for years because I'm going to expose all of this nightmare. They were so caught up in their own BS and their beliefs and advocacy for the Democrats and hatred towards Trump and the Republicans that you were willing to give up the opportunity to expose something so massive that your name would be on the tip of everybody's tongue. Most people know who Woodward and Bernstein are. They don't even know what they did, but they know that name. They probably think they're a folk band.
So why wasn't there somebody?
I don't know. Nobody had the courage to do it.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a lack of courage. Absolutely. You guys, we are dog lovers on the show, as you know, and we've talked about this amazing product from naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, who put together this amazing product for dogs and now cats, Ruff Greens for dogs and Meow Greens for kitty cats. It's a health supplement for your pets. And so it's just a green powder that you sprinkle onto their dead, dry kibble, helps bring it to life. One of our very own insiders who did some night. She's a huge fan of all of the sponsors of our show. And we showed her talking about some of our sponsors yesterday. Donna also uses Ruff Greens.
For my dog Boo loves her Ruff Greens. I highly recommend, if you love your dog, you need to give them Ruff Greens. And I know you all love your dogs. Boo's coat is so soft. She rarely ever has bad breath. It's just great stuff. We also give her the Ruff Greens chews. This is very good for her, very digestible, and it helps assuage our guilt every time we leave the house. We can just give her one of these.
You can't get a better endorsement than here from our own community. And you can try it for free, you guys. You can get a free Jumpstart trial bag of either the Ruff Greens for dogs or Meow Greens for cats. You just need to go to ruffgreens.com and use promo code CHICKS to get that free Jumpstart trial bag. It's a $20 value, and you'll just pay for shipping. That's it. And then you can see if your pet loves it, and I can assure you that they will. ruffgreens.com, promo code CHICKS. Now let's get back to some more stuff that Trump did yesterday. He eliminated the White House Office of Gun Control. The website, poof, it's gone. Just one more thing. He's like, we don't need that. That's not happening. Getting rid of it.
I didn't even know we had that.
And he also, this is going to be really, really good news for those of you who love a really good shower. He has issued an executive order that eliminates government requirements for low pressure shower heads and low flow toilets.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know what my wife wants him to do? My wife wants him to do one thing. She wants him to have an executive order that all television companies, all the Netflixes of the world have to get together and they have to come to an agreement of what the commercial volume is going to be when the episode goes to commercial. So you don't scare the crap out of everybody with stuff that's so loud.
It's so true.
That deaf people can hear it.
Yes, I know. And I know the purpose is because I know that they want obviously the ads to stand out, but that is so freaking annoying.
I mean, you'll go from like 50 down to 30, back up to 50, or you mute it. That doesn't help you. Let's get it together, people. This is America.
I think this should be a priority.
Amen.
Maybe it'll be a day 2 priority.
He got most done yesterday. He could take a nap.
I know. Well, and there's even more. So he also, the Department of Homeland Security just fired their entire advisory committee, citing misuse of resources. And so DHS clearly getting a big fat overhaul. And there's also in terms of the federal agencies, he also, all the federal employees that are in DEI roles are going to be put on paid leave by 5 o'clock today because all of those programs, all of those offices are being shut down. Is this great or what?
That's
I know.
Awesome.
I know.
So
it just gets better and better. And then if you're a person who's not a particular fan of John Bolton, then you're probably going to really like this news. And that is that his security clearance has officially been revoked. And Trump also decided to take away his Secret Service protection. There was a CNN report about that. Here it is coming up right here.
Just into CNN, after revoking the security clearance of dozens of former intelligence officials, including his former national security advisor, John Bolton, we're now learning that President Trump has pulled Bolton's security detail as well.
Let's get straight to Caitlin Collins. Caitlin, what can you tell us?
Yeah, we saw a lot of first moves that Trump was making as soon as he took office yesterday with all of those executive orders and a flurry of activity. One thing that went quietly unnoticed is that he also terminated the Secret Service detail that is assigned to Ambassador John Bolton, of course, one of Trump's national security advisors in his first term. This is a detail that was assigned to him when he was the national security advisor then. But when he left the Trump White House in the fall of 2019, Trump actually terminated his Secret Service protection then. And it was only later, after President Biden took office, that later in 2021, he restored that security to John Bolton.
Thoughts?
You know, I get the getting rid of their clearances. And by the way, if you guys have no idea, clearances are worth millions of dollars to all of these guys and gals because they'll be hired on to companies because they're able to go do certain things and see certain things. So clearances are worth millions of dollars for them in their pockets, because they can get on boards and do stuff so they can go bid and do things, talk on camera and do stuff like that. So I get why they did that. The only thing I have an issue with the Secret Service is the Iranians want to kill him. And that is evident of probably a lot of people too. But that's something I would think about. But, you know, I mean, you do ask why some of these people have some security. If there's a real threat, like if there was a real threat, I think he would put some back on. But, you know, he was such a clown, but he scared the crap out of a lot of people. Did you see the Rogan thing when they were talking about that? And he was talking to Rogan about, well, we would go places and I would tell them, you know, I don't really want to do anything, but see that guy behind me? And it was Bolton. He goes, you better watch out for him because he will, you know.
Oh my gosh. Well, Trump was asked about this in one of these sort of impromptu pressers that he did yesterday afternoon. And here's what he said specifically about Bolton's security team.
Because I think there was enough time. It's we take a job. You take a job. You want to do a job. We're not going to have security on people for the rest of their lives. Why should we? I thought he was a very dumb person, but I used him well because every time people saw me come into a meeting with John Bolton standing behind me, they thought that he'd attack them because he was a warmonger. He's the one that got us involved, along with Cheney and a couple of others, convinced Bush, which was a terrible decision, to blow up the Middle East. We blew up the Middle East and we left. We got nothing out of it except a lot of death. We killed a lot of people, and John Bolton was, one of those guys, a stupid guy. But no, you can't have that for life. You shouldn't expect it for life.
Stupid guy. I was going to. Like I said, if there was a real threat, I think he would have kept it on. I don't think he thinks there's a real threat anymore. Now, if I was him, I wouldn't travel many places, but staying in America should be fine.
I mean, as long as he's staying indoors, everything's fine. Like staying in his house. Also, you remember how Trump has decided to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. Well, wouldn't you know it? My favorite governor, Governor Ron DeSantis, has been the first governor to recognize it. That's the first state to refer to the Gulf as the Gulf of America in an actual storm warning. So they referred to it and just because of a weather-related issue. But I kind of love that he's always the first. He's always the first to do all the things. And once again, here's another example.
That's funny. I like that. That's, what was it? Chuck Schumer said, we're definitely willing to talk to Trump about renaming it because you can rename it and there's nothing that stops him. And the Schumer's like, yeah, we're open to that. I'm like, funny, great. Let's do it.
Then there's no argument. It's done. Let's just be done with that. Did you hear that one of the other things that Trump did yesterday, but one of the things that happened yesterday that's being credited or blamed on Trump is that Mark Milley's portrait was taken down? Did you from the Pentagon, like from wherever the leaders of the Pentagon have been placed before? It was taken down. And David Urban was on, I can't remember what, this is CNN, I think, but he was on and he was talking about how that's probably not a good thing. And I gotta say, as much as I can't stand Mark Milley, I think that this is the right approach here.
But isn't normal, or traditional, I guess I should say, is at the Pentagon, they display the portraits of the Joint Chiefs Chairman, everyone who's held that role. General Mark Milley's was just done weeks ago. It was unveiled at the Pentagon. You can see it here. This is what that space looks like now. They removed it. I mean, David, what does that say to you?
Look, I don't know if the president directed so that General Milley's portrait be taken down. I don't know who directed it. I think it's not a great message. I think, listen, the Republican Party is just big about not taking down people's statues we don't agree with, right? We said we shouldn't be rewriting history by taking down statues.
Yeah, those were Confederate generals, not someone like General Mark Milley.
Whether you like Mark Milley or whether you're not, he held the position. The portraits of every other chairman of the Joint Chiefs are hanging in that hallway. His portrait deserves to be hung there. It's a matter of protocol, not a matter of politics. Again, there are chairmen who serve there, probably have varied backgrounds. Your portrait is hung there, tradition. I think, I'm hopeful that during the course of this next 4 years, that portrait goes back up.
What do you think about that?
I agree. I mean, the history side of it is exactly that. Don't erase history. And the reality is, okay, Trump, you're going to be gone in 4 years. And that if you did order it, and that's a big if, because it could be something as stupid as, we need to do something with it, touch it up, and this, that, and the other. But it's just going to go right back up. So taking it down now, I just think it's silly. We shouldn't erase history. And that's exactly it. He did not exist, and he didn't not hold that position.
Exactly. That's how I feel about it too. I know I saw a lot of people in the comments here going, he's a traitor, he committed treason, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. The reason for the portrait being up is because he served in that role. Just as a matter of a historical record, that's all the portraits are people who served in that role. It doesn't matter that if they were great. It doesn't matter if they were terrible. It's just a part of history. And so I just think that that's probably a bad precedent to set, is that now we're just going to take down portraits of people that we didn't think did a good job or did something wrong. He still was the Joint Chief. So
that's it. Yeah.
I don't know.
You being president doesn't eliminate the work that he did there. You may not like the work, you may think all those things, but he did do the stuff and he did hold the position. We don't remove Richard Nixon's bust off something because, well, he ended up resigning in shame. So he didn't exist as president. No, he did. So
yeah,
we'll leave it
that's
there.
exactly right. It's just history, and just leave it alone. Yesterday, the reason actually that Trump called the press in yesterday afternoon was to announce a big new AI initiative. And so here he is talking about a word that we're probably going to hear a lot about, and that is Stargate.
World-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate. So put that name down in your books, because I think you're going to hear a lot about it in the future. A new American company that will invest $500 billion at least in AI infrastructure in the United States, and very, very quickly, moving very rapidly, creating over 100,000 American jobs almost immediately. This monumental undertaking is a resounding declaration of confidence in America's potential under a new president. Let me be a new president. I didn't say it, they did. So I appreciate that, fellas. But it'll ensure the future of technology. What we want to do is we want to keep it in this country. China is a competitor and others are competitors. We want it to be in this country, and we're making it available.
So this is a big Sam Altman thing.
This is, I said on my show earlier today, the most important thing that he has done since president is this.
Really?
AI is not just the future. AI is the number one top thing that is changing the world. It is going to revolutionize things like we cannot believe, on the medical side, all of that stuff. That being said, it is also the thing that will fight wars in the future. It is also the thing that is going to solve cancer in the future. This is the most important thing. When we hear we got wars for this and wars for that, we're fighting over this, that, and the other. There is nothing more important. AI you can put it up there with fire, the wheel, the combustible engine. It's probably more important than all of those things.
Wow.
And nobody talks about it because it's not sexy. This is the most important thing that he may do, because the future battle with China is with AI right now. They just released their version of ChatGPT yesterday, the newest version. This is the battle. The arms race is this. That's why the energy production is so important, because it eats up lots of stuff. And it is, I don't think people realize that supercomputer 2-3 weeks ago, I don't know if you guys talked about it. It solved the math problem. So it solved the math problem that would have taken, I think they said 1 trillion years for normal supercomputers to do it, some ridiculous amount like this. To do it, it had to go into other dimensions to get parts of the equation that it didn't understand and bring it back to our dimension.
Whoa.
It's a different world, AI and all of this stuff. That's why it's the most important thing. This is the arms race right now, period.
Well, and it does give some, it helps kind of put like a button on the fact that all the tech bros are now so tightly in Donald Trump's circle, because he obviously wants to have the brightest and most capable minds in this AI fight.
Yeah.
And so
100%.
why wouldn't you have Elon and Sam? I know that they're not actually friends with each other, but Sam Altman and Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos, all of them.
Larry Ellison was there yesterday.
Yeah. And all of them are going to play a role.
He said this is revolutionary, and he went on to say we're going to have vaccines for cancers sooner rather than later.
Wow.
It's insane. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. You guys, just a quick note to remind you about our friends at MyPillow. When you go to MyPillow, you can rest assured that anything you order from that company is going to be of the highest possible quality, and it'll be your new favorite version of whatever you're buying, whether it's towels, because I will not use any other towel except for MyPillow towels, or whether it's slippers, and there's a massive slipper sale right now. So if you've never tried their moccasins or their slippers that have the squeezy kitten fur technology in them, that's a chick's trademark, not a MyPillow trademark. But that's, oh, What?
What
I don't
the hell
even
just happened
know.
there?
I don't even know how I made that happen. But anyway, if you want the squeezy kitten for technology and you want your feet to be toasty warm, especially on days like where it snows in South Carolina on the coast, then you should visit mypillow.com/chicks. They've got slippers for as low as $25 right now. Make sure to use code chicks at mypillow.com/chicks. One final little video from the presser yesterday from Trump. And that is, did you see that clip? Because we played it on yesterday's show where Peter Doocy was like, hey, did Joe Biden leave a letter for you and you're in the desk in the Oval Office? And Trump was like, well, let me look. And he like found it in real time. So now he was asked about that in the presser yesterday. And here's what he said about the letter that Joe Biden left for him.
It was a little bit of an inspirational type letter, enjoy it, do a good job. Important, very important, how important the job is. But I think it was a nice letter. I think I should let people see it because it was a positive for him in writing it. I appreciated the letter.
So we might be seeing a
funny.
letter. I wonder if it was
like-
handwritten. Like, can you
It was
imagine
written
if
in
it was
crayon. It was written in crayon. He spilled some applesauce on it. It was, Jill wrote underneath, Nancy's a bitch.
Oh my gosh. I wonder if he's saving it for like his next, like, how he had the book of letters, like the Trump
He'll take it
letters?
home and then they'll come get him and arrest him and say, this is needed to be archived.
Oh my God. You're so right. They absolutely will. All right, let's move on because there was actually a confirmation hearing yesterday with Elise Stefanik. That's the reason for my name today. But there's some delays happening on some of the more critical appointments to the cabinet. So right now, still don't have a date for Kash Patel. Still don't have a date for Tulsi Gabbard. They are now using all kinds of delay tactics to stall out Pete Hegseth's confirmation. And now, to add to that, there's a new allegation that has just come from his former sister-in-law, who is a woman that is divorced from his brother, saying that Pete abused his ex-wife and that she was afraid for her life and all of this stuff. The ex-wife herself has said, that's not true. I was never abused. She said it in a recent FBI interview that there was never any abuse. And so now this woman, this ex-sister-in-law, has signed an affidavit saying, yeah, he abused the woman who claims she was not abused. So this is Kavanaugh all over again. They're just pulling out the dumbest, most desperate smears. And it's so obvious. But there's going to be Democrats who are like, oh, well, he can't be confirmed.
Well, we need to see we need to bring her in. It's like one of those things where they're sitting there and they go, you were beaten. And the person's like, no, I wasn't. And you're like, see, still scared for their life.
Right.
The minute the wife said, no, I was never beaten, all that stuff's a bunch of baloney. You go,
yeah,
okay, well, we're moving on from that. So, because that's what you would do in court. That's what you would do. Like, I can only go with what I can prove. And that person said no. So in court, they would say, well, then you didn't prove your case.
Exactly. But that's not how it works in the Senate. Democrats, they're going to glom onto this. They're going to use it and they're going to use it as an excuse to not vote for him. I suspect he'll still have enough votes. I would hope. Yeah, I would hope Republicans are not going to they're not going to buy into this nonsense because that's exactly what it is. It's just pure nonsense. It's so stupid.
It's baloney. But that's what, I went back when all the hearings started a couple weeks ago, and I went back to Clinton and Bush and stuff, and I looked at their confirmation hearings, 99-1, with that person voting present, 100-0. It was about, and I blame social media for this.
Yeah.
It was about, can you do the job?
Right.
That's it. Are you capable? Like, do you drool? Do your knuckles drag? Do you breathe out of your mouth? I mean, can you do the job of which you're being appointed? Yes. Okay, great. And then we move on.
Yeah.
But then now social media changed everything. It became celebrities because it's now about the person asking the question, not the answer.
Yeah. Yeah. They love their moments. They got to get their viral moments in.
Amen.
Well, thankfully, it is true that it was a 99 vote for Marco Rubio, and he had his swearing-in ceremony yesterday, and his wife is hot. Have you seen her?
And that I will well and faithfully discharge. And that I will well and faithfully discharge. The duties of the office on which I am about to enter. The duties of the office of which I'm about to enter. So help you God. So help me God. Congratulations, Mr. Secretary.
She's a cutie.
And she was. He was an easy confirmation. A lot of Democrats liked him. They also look at him and think, this guy's a leader. He's gonna do right by America and what he's out there for.
Yeah. And he also has a sense of humor. In case people didn't know that, then they definitely will know it after he spoke after his swearing in. And here is what he said.
Their mandate to keep. If I may take the liberty for just 15 seconds to say something in Spanish, because I know a lot of people back home would be very proud, and I want to make sure I acknowledge that. Quiero darle las gracias a Dios, a mi familia que no está aquí con nosotros hoy, a mis padres que vinieron en este país en el año 1956. Y el propósito de su vida fue que nosotros pudiéramos vivir los sueños que no fueron posibles para ellos. Es un honor increíble ser el secretario de Estado del país más poderoso y más bueno en la historia de toda la humanidad. Y es un gran honor y le doy las gracias al presidente Trump por esta oportunidad. I just said I saved a bunch of money by switching to Geico. That's what I said.
I love that he did that so much. It's just so perfect. He's great.
If I'm
He's
Geico, I grab that as a commercial.
Oh my God, wouldn't you? Like immediately. That's a great name drop. It's a perfect name drop. They also did a very slick, highly produced welcome to the state, Marco Rubio. And here is that video. They seem excited.
Yeah.
So that's something.
It's
so
you know,
one down,
I think
a bazillion to go.
He's going to do a great job. I think he was the perfect pick. He's got a great knowledge of what he's undertaking, but he's also got a great respect amongst right and left. And leaders of the world, which is what you need in that position, right? Like that's a position where you got to have somebody strong, but they have to have respect. And they should be strong, and at the same time, you've got to be able to work. Because that job, you're never home. I mean, you're going to travel 1 billion miles. It is arguably outside of the president the most important job we have.
Yeah, and I think he's gonna shine in it. I mean, he's definitely got his priorities in the right place. He knows what Trump expects, and I think he's gonna be really, really good. On total contrast, because he's somebody that we look to as a potential like real future leader. He's already been a leader. Here's somebody who's in a leadership position that is, oh my God, you guys, have you heard the name Sherelle Parker? She is the mayor of Philadelphia. And yesterday,
the spelling bee champ of the world.
Yesterday, she wanted to go team with her Eagles, and this happened.
ELGSES Eagles! Let's go, Birds!
Oh my God. I love that someone already created the new logo.
EG4. Did she say 4? She put a 4 in there?
Did she put a 9er in there? It's Elgseys. Woo! Yeah, that's
fly birds fly.
Oh my God, it's just so embarrassing. So embarrassing. And it's embarrassing too. You know what is embarrassing is like, no offense to anybody that might be part of the Episcopalian Church, but the fact that their bishops are so liberal and so political, the national prayer service that Trump and Vance and members of the Trump family went to yesterday was an absolute disgrace. I cannot believe that no one vetted this whole service before it actually happened, that they didn't know who was going to be delivering the sermon. But it turned out that it was this crazy bishop who used the opportunity selfishly to lecture Trump. Here is what that sounded like.
In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives. The people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals. They may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here.
Disgusting.
What's her name? Marianne Bode? Bud?
Buddy, I'm not sure how to say it.
Yeah, but what? Let's all say a prayer for how much we hate Donald Trump and the horrible things that he's going to do to our nation. Dear Heavenly Father, you're like, what? Wait, what? Who didn't vet? You know who didn't vet? We can find them today because they're out of a job.
I mean, that was just despicable on every level. And this woman has been an activist way more so than a preacher or pastor or a bishop or whatever her title is. Back in the George Floyd days, she was also going hard after Trump. Here's what she said during one of those protest rallies.
Why did you want to come out here and send
their message? It is a message of a call for justice, for swift justice for George Floyd, for systemic justice for all brown and black people who have been under the knee of this country in ways that we have witnessed time and again. This is wrong. And this rising up, this spontaneous uprising of people, mostly half my age or younger, they're the ones we should be listening to.
And they're angry at the president.
They're so angry.
They're angry at the president. So what is your message to President Trump today?
Well, I've given up speaking to President Trump. We need to replace President Trump. We need leadership that will lead us in the ways that this country deserves.
Unreal that is who was at the service.
I don't even, the whole thought process of these people that are so, everybody's a victim, everything's based on skin color, trans ideology, all of this wackiness that permeates into our society that we need to get out of our society. When I watch stuff like that, I think to myself, who's that for? Like, who's going to your sermons? Honestly. I mean, the goal is, right, if you're a preacher, if you're a pastor, if you're somebody who's trying to bring people to the Lord, you're casting a wide net. Mm-hmm. And what you're doing is you're demonizing one to try to catch none. Yeah. And you're blaming everything on, like Trump put his knee on the neck of George Floyd.
It's just, that was, and to watch the faces of Trump and his family and the Vances, JD kept looking over at his wife. Like, can you even believe this? And she was stone faced. She would not make eye contact with him. She just kept looking straight ahead. But he was, and Trump just kept looking kind of stone faced too. None of them reacted in that moment, except that they looked a little uncomfortable. But they could have walked out, you know what I mean? Yeah. They could have rolled their eyes. They could have done a lot of things, but they decided to keep it civil and classy. And that's what they did. But man, was that ever out of line? I mean, it was just out of line. And then Trump was, yes. And then Trump was asked about it shortly after. I think his anger about it grew over the day afterwards. And so when he was first asked about it, he was a little vague. Reporters caught up with him, and this is what he said.
Thank you.
Mr. President, what did you think of the sermon? What did you think of the sermon?
What did you think of
What did you think of the service?
What did you think? Did you like it? Did you find it exciting? Not too exciting, was it? I didn't think it was a good service, no. Thank you very much.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
They could do much better.
It could have been much better, he said.
He
was pretty tame in that moment. Pretty tame. Scott Jennings, who is a favorite of
Lonely Scott. I call him Lonely Scott. Lonely Scott at CNN. taking on 9 people at once.
And he's so good at it. He's so freaking good at it. He let loose about this ridiculous incident. Here he is.
These woke Scopalians or Episcopokians or whatever they're calling themselves today, this is ridiculous. This was terrible. Donald Trump, I'm sure, regrets participating in this event today, to be lectured to and politicized in a church this way. And I thought it was, frankly, a disgrace to what they did at this event. I don't know if this event will happen ever again because of this. This particular bishop took it upon herself to turn this into a complete and total circus and spectacle. And I don't know any Republican today who's like, oh, wow.
Well, it was a very long service, right? This was like...
It was, you know what? Could you imagine how the press would react if Biden went to a Catholic church, because he's Catholic, and they denied him communion and said, because of your support of choice, we don't agree with that. And how many babies die a year? Hey, could you imagine how oh my God, it would be an uproar. But instead,
yeah, you're right.
You know, this person's treated like a champion.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think the more time that passed yesterday after that sermon, Trump probably was on, his Truth Social. He was probably looking at social media and he was seeing the outrage from so many people. And then it's like it hit him, right? And then he got mad and he tweeted this: the so-called bishop who spoke at the National Prayer Service Tuesday morning was a radical left hardline Trump hater. She brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. She was nasty in tone, not compelling or smart. She failed to mention the large number of illegal migrants that came into our country and killed people. Many were deposited from jails and mental institutions. It's a giant crime wave that is taking place in the U.S. Apart from her inappropriate statements, the service was a very boring and uninspiring one. She is not very good at her job. She and her church owe the public an apology.
How do you really feel, sir?
I know. Well, and of course, the media on CNN in particular, Aaron Burnett was just almost fawning over this woman.
Yeah.
She invited her to come on and basically was like, oh my God, you're like so brave and your message was so gentle. Here is a little bit of that interaction. It was just nauseating.
Bishop, I appreciate your time and your tone there, so serious and genuine. You see him, he's stone-faced, he then looks down, but he's listening to every word you say. As you made that personal plea to him, what were you looking at him in that moment? What kind of response were you perhaps hoping for in that moment?
I was looking at the president because I was speaking directly to him. I was also, frankly, as you do in every sermon, speaking to everyone who was listening through that one-on-one conversation with the president, reminding us all that in the people that are frightened in our country, the two groups of people that I mentioned are our fellow human beings, and that they have been portrayed in all throughout the political campaign in the harshest of lights that I wanted to counter as gently as I could with a reminder of their humanity and their place in our wider community.
So you spoke, I like how you use the word gently, because it was gentle. I mean, it was intense and passionate, but yet it was gentle. It was not ugly or confrontational.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just, CNN is so gross.
Hey, Pastor, what kind of Subaru do you drive?
I don't know what you're suggesting.
Just saying. You like softball?
All right, moving on. We got to get into this whole Elon Musk thing because it continues to be a story. This is absolutely ridiculous. We talked about it yesterday. If somehow you missed out on his excitement at the inauguration rally that took place on Monday night, where he was thanking everybody, saying this is what victory feels like, and he said, "My heart goes out to all of you," and naturally the press was like, "Oh my God, Sig Heil, that was a Hitler salute," and they're losing their minds. Leave it, of course, to Jim Acosta to be one of the worst about this. He had on Representative Robert Garcia, and they were both like, "Oh my God, this was so Hitler."
I did want to ask you about the inauguration yesterday. Elon Musk, I'm sure you saw this, the head of the new Department of Government Efficiency. He spoke yesterday, and during his speech, he used a hand gesture that looked like a Nazi salute. Let's watch that.
You know, there are elections that come and go. Some elections are, important. Some are not. But this one, this one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
And then they cut. Of course.
After this moment when viral Congressman, the Anti-Defamation League released a statement, we can show this, saying in part, it seems that Elon Musk made an awkward gesture in a moment of enthusiasm, not a Nazi salute. Of course, if you go on social media, there are lots of other people with lots of other opinions and say this looks very much like a Nazi salute, no matter how they're trying to clean it up. What was your reaction to that?
That was a Nazi salute, and he didn't just do it one time. He did it twice for emphasis. And you talk to anyone, historians, folks who actually study the Nazis and study this actual kind of disgusting display, have been very clear that what that was. And he should not just apologize, he should be condemned for those kinds of actions. So gross, disgusting, but more of what we can expect, I think, from Elon Musk and Donald Trump.
So let me ask you guys this. The Anti-Defamation League, are they the Nazis? Because I thought they're the Jews. Thought they would know a little bit about this as well.
Yeah, I feel like they would have an idea.
Good God.
This is so stupid. This is so stupid. And it's like the mainstream media, like people like Jim Acosta, learned nothing from their loss of this election. They learned nothing.
But remember, Jim Acosta disappeared the minute Biden got in. Nobody heard from Jim. And then they dusted him off because Trump's back. They're like, we're going to give you a show. You go fight with Trump all day and he'll yell at you. It'll be good theater. And you can talk about, all the things he's going to do to everybody. And it is insane. And they've got nothing to talk about. See, that's the problem. And that's a problem with a lot of news in today's world. They don't, it's not sexy. We demand as people to be entertained now. It's like, oh, we're not entertained. We demand it. We can't just have regular stuff. That being said, if you've got the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League coming out going, he's a friend of the Jews. This is not it. You know what it is? It's a guy who, first of all, look at his hair. Because if you go back and look at his hair, it's all up sideways because he doesn't brush his hair because he's autistic. And he comes out and he throws a weird, that's what it was. There it is.
He's weird. He's weird. This is
48 kids.
Exactly. And anyone that knows or has seen Elon Musk in basically any interview or any setting, they know that he's a little bit off. He's a little weird, right? He's a brilliant weirdo. So this was just enthusiasm. And anyone that heard and bothered to play the full context where he said, my heart goes out to you.
No, he said, uns kill all the people. I love you, kids, everyone. Uns do it now. Is that what he said? Or did he say, hey, my heart goes out to you guys?
Right. They keep leaving that part out. It is so stupid. PBS was ridiculous about it. The way that they try to be so buttoned up and newsy and the stupid crap that they're saying. Listen to this woman.
We did see Mr. Musk during that speech, and we saw the gesture. I don't know whether the audience here interpreted it the way it was subsequently interpreted on social media. It certainly appears to be be a Heil Hitler. But at the time, what he was saying, we went back to the transcript, and I remember him saying it, is he was saying, my heart goes out to you. So he was gesturing to his chest. And then, of course, there was the hand straight out, which harkens back, of course, for a lot of folks to the Nazi salute. But we didn't see that reaction here. There wasn't like a gasp or a pause or any even reinforcement of the gesture. So it's a little hard to tell from where we sat the meaning of it.
God, I mean,
there wasn't that reaction. What'd you expect everybody to do? Go Heil Hitler? I mean, is that what you? Yes. I mean, this is. I don't know. First of all, I'm glad that their stuff is still working for now until the plug is pulled halfway through their broadcast. But they're trying to, like, we didn't see. I mean, we thought maybe they'd bring the ovens on the stage. They didn't do it, so we didn't know what was going to happen. And I don't know. I mean, he did say, we went back and looked, and he said, "Oh, my heart goes out to you guys," but we know what that means.
Right. That didn't. That's
make interpreted any sense, into kill all the people.
It's just so ridiculous. And Ted Cruz actually went after PBS because their tweet said, billionaire Elon Musk gave what appeared to be a fascist salute Monday while making a speech at the post-inauguration celebration. And Ted was like, why are taxpayers subsidizing dishonest partisan liars? Elon literally said, my heart goes out to you, as he made the gesture from his heart to the people. PBS knows they're lying, and they are proud of doing so. They should be defunded. And that's a great point. I don't know why we pay anything. That should be on the list of subsidies that should also be looked at and reviewed to see if they're still worthwhile.
You guys are going to have to sell some more of those sweet plates and tote bags so you can fund the rest of your stuff. You ever see that too? This weekend alone, we're going to be selling all of these things. If you make a donation at $8, you get a tote bag. And, whatever antiques in the attic, plate. It'll be awesome.
I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And there's so many just, normies, I guess, on the random people on the internet that are saying, oh, yeah, I'm a Nazi expert like this guy. I studied the Nazis at university, taught the history of Nazi Germany on 2 continents, and wrote for major newspapers about Nazi Germany. I am internet famous for fact-checking chuds on the history, ideology, and policy of Nazi Germany. That was a Nazi salute.
Okay. Then you know what else I saw yesterday? Obama like this, Taylor Swift like this, all of them. Are those all? Well, it's different because they did it with love.
Right. It's totally different when it's a Democrat.
It's just, and I'm going to say this, guys. We all know he's got a bit of the tism, right? We recognize that.
With the tism.
He is touched. He is definitely on some sort of the spectrum. So what you're doing, sir, is you're being an ableist. You are going after somebody who has a bit of something, and that's how I can't even believe this, Mike Stuckerberry, or what the hell your name is. I'm internet famous. So is Hawk Tua Girl.
That's exactly right. But he wasn't the only one. There were senators too. Chris Murphy saying it's not a gaffe. It's back-to-back, clear as day Nazi salutes. And how does this not make sense? Did we not just watch the campaign Trump ran? Have we all not seen the anti-Semitism in MAGA? Feels like this is all we should be talking about tomorrow.
No, we haven't seen the anti-Semitism in MAGA. We're too busy watching it on college campuses by the left.
Exactly.
I can't see through the trees.
Senators supporting it. Right. God, it just makes me so mad. Piers Morgan also tweeted about it, saying Elon Musk was very ill-advised to do this kind of salute to denote his clearly stated, my heart goes out to you sentiment, but he obviously didn't mean it as a Nazi salute, and anyone who says he did is being a disingenuous idiot. And I think that's exactly right.
But he did it in a British accent, as he typed.
Right.
Elon Musk was very ill-advised of this kind of salute. Here's the thing. He didn't think about it. He didn't go up there. It's not like he had something prepared.
And he was not advised to do it or not do it. He just was being Elon. And
did you see him run on stage? He was like a 5-year-old on like he was just taking Twizzlers all day, running around.
It was great. It was absolutely great. Also, now that Twitter, or X rather, has changed so that even if you are blocked by somebody, you can still see their tweets. You just can't interact with them. I'm blocked by Meghan McCain, for example.
Really?
So it used to be, I'm blocked by so many people, but
What'd
it
you do
used
to
to
Meghan?
be. I can't remember. It's been a long time. She blocked us forever ago. I think it's because we made fun of that picture where her boobs are up by her chin and she's pretending like she's showing a book, but really it's just about her boobs.
She's got
she's got
some memories. If that's what you're asking.
Yeah, exactly. So she blocked us a long time ago, but now I can see her tweets, and I will give Meghan credit. She was absolutely right.
Tweets?
She said,
You can see her tweets?
I can see her tweets now.
We can all see.
She says, I know you're not calling Elon a Nazi when for the last 4 years you've made concessions and excuses for actual Nazis, calling for the extermination of Jewish people on college campuses. To your point, she's exactly right. Exactly right. And here's what we've seen. There are people on the streets of college campuses making these salutes for real. And all the people that are complaining about Elon have been nowhere. In fact, a lot of them, including AOC, has gone out to support these people.
Yeah. Well, that's because
nonsense.
They're doing it with love. And I tell people that the difference is their hate is morally superior to the pretend hate that Elon has. That's I have seen it. I have seen it firsthand. But down to ASU, I've seen the insanity of which these people they do not hide it. And if it was any other group, if you were to say that about the LGBT community, you'd be run off campus. The Black community, the Hispanic community, if you were to say that about any community, but the Jews, because they look white, have at them.
I know. I mean, it's so insane that there's all this attention on Elon, and it even got as far as making it into a question at Elise Stefanik's confirmation hearing by frickin' Senator Murphy. This is absolutely ridiculous. And here it is.
What do you think of Elon Musk, perhaps the president's most visible advisor, doing 2 Heil Hitler salutes last night at the president's televised rally?
No, Elon Musk did not do those salutes. I was not at the rally, but I can tell you I've been at many rallies with Elon Musk, who loves to cheer when President Trump says we need to send our U.S. space program to Mars. Elon Musk is a visionary. I'm looking forward to his work in DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, and look forward to looking how we can be more efficient and effective, but that is simply not the case. And to say so is the American people are smart. They see through it. They support Elon Musk. We are proud to be the country of such successful entrepreneurs. That is one of our greatest strengths as Americans.
Over and over last night, white supremacist groups and neo-Nazi groups in this country rallied around that visual. Does it concern you that those elements of the neo-Nazi and white supremacist element in the United States believe that what they saw last night was a neo-Nazi salute?
What concerns me is these are the questions you believe are most important to ask to the UN ambassador. I have a very strong record when it comes to combating anti-Semitism. We just had a historic election where President Trump earned historic support from American voters because of his strong leadership combating anti-Semitism, which has been a scourge across the country, skyrocketing since October 7th. So I intend to bring moral clarity to this position and continue to speak out as a voice, as a beacon of light, condemning anti-Semitism at the United Nations.
Good for her, man. What a nonsense question.
I want to be on one of those panels when they ask me a question. I'm like, are you special? Do you wear a helmet? Do you go to school with a short bus? What the hell's wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? Don't make me come over there and slap the white off of you. My God, you're an idiot. I'm serious. I'm not even going to answer any questions. Don't even talk to me. You're an idiot. Tell this person not to talk to me. And I bring my own gavel, too. Just order in court.
I suspect she's going to get through confirmation pretty easily too. I mean,
Yeah.
For UN ambassador, she's like a perfect choice, and I think that she's probably going to skate. But yeah, I mean, it was a ridiculous line of questioning. And AOC, who is one of the people who has been so super supportive of all of these college protests, even stopping by to thank the students that are wearing the keffiyehs and all that stuff when those protests were in their height, she posted about this on her Instagram live. I think this was last night. And she will not accept reality.
United States of America. And I don't care what Elon Musk is doing behind a presidential seal. In this country, we hate Nazis. Kind of like a foundational defining thing. Two of probably the most foundational defining things about American history is that we beat the Confederates and we beat the Nazis. And I don't know what side people may be on today, but I still am not rocking with anyone sympathetic to Nazis. And I will do that until I am 6 feet in the ground. Like, kind of foundational to me as a human being. And so if you're cool and want to defend the Sig Heils and the Nazi salutes, all the whatever you want to do, that's on you. I'm on the opposite side of that. I'm not with the Nazis. How about that? I mean, but it's very important for us to assert these things.
Explain this then. Explain it, AOC. Explain all of your saluting, because that looked like some serious. Let me see if I can rewind that and see that again.
OnlyFans is stupid.
Does she have one for real?
No, that would be great though.
I'm not done.
Oh shoot! I don't think I can rewind.
Here's
it was
the thing
like
us to assert these things.
Let me see if I can get it. Here we go. That's
Nazi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Explain that, AOC.
So, first of all, she's like, okay, look, all right, when we fought for our independence against the Nazis in the 1700s, you're like, wait, she's all over the place, like the Confederates, the Nazis. And by the way, she's like, I'm completely against Nazis. I mean, I don't care if the terrorists blow the crap out of the Jews, but it better not be a white guy.
Right. God, she's awful. Absolutely awful.
She uses her platform in such a brilliant way because she knows she's got an audience, right? She represents probably 60, 70, 100,000 people in New York, but she's got an audience of millions. And she uses her platform in a brilliant way because she found a lane and she serves a purpose. It's for people who are very bright and people who lead with their feelings and virtue signal. But she found, this is what she's good at.
It's just gross, and she's gross, and I wish that it weren't so easy for her to continue to win re-election, which it unfortunately is. She's in an area of New York where she's going to be in Congress like forever until she runs for president. God forbid.
Yeah. I remember Nancy Pelosi saying one time, she was at some sort of big event, on stage, and she looks over and they were talking about her and the squad, and she goes, "See that glass of water right there? If you put a D by it name and you ran it in her area, it would win."
Yeah, that's exactly right. I know, because I know people have tried to even primary her. There have been decent Republicans who have tried to run against her, and they get no traction. Her name is now too important and too out there.
The plan going forward is Republicans, come here, run as an independent or a Democrat, and the minute you get in, go, and I'm switching sides.
That's some strategery right there. Some interesting strategery.
That's how you do it.
Greg Gutfeld was losing his absolute mind about this last night. Here he is on the whole Elon thing.
Not done. I got to bring up the Nazi hoax thing because we all know this is BS. And yet the media is redefining losing every single day. Day one, they say Elon Musk made a Nazi salute. Right. And I'm beginning to think, they know they're lying. So why are they doing this? Because they realize they cannot rebuild their credibility. They're like a fat guy on death row. What's the point in dieting? You're already dead.
Truth.
Do you think that's true, that they're just going to keep doing what they're doing because they already know they're on the downward slope to extinction?
I think, well, yeah. And by the way, the downward slope to extinction is as much about how wrong they are, but also the fact that we've fragmented so much. You can come here, you can go anywhere, you can get all this media now kind of, a la carte. So that's a part of it. But the other part of it is, I think they think, okay, they went away from a lot of us after the Russia thing fell apart. But then they wanted some home cooking, and they're going to come back to us because we're going to feed them. We're going to be their comfort food. We're going to be the quinoa to their soy.
Okay. All right. Interesting analogy.
I mean, my goodness, they got Rachel Maddow to work almost 100 straight days, kind of, sort of, for her $25 million contract.
Oh, no. 100 days for $25 million?
She's doing the
However,
first
will she stand
100
it?
days of Trump's presidency.
And then she just gets to go back to weekly?
Whatever to this day, I'm like, who signed that deal? Like, how
I know.
horrible.
Well,
Do you
and
know
I'm still
who her-
waiting for MSNBC to explode because they were going to sell, and there were all these reports about MSNBC like divesting and doing different things, and I just haven't heard anything since.
You know who her good friend is?
Hmm.
Tucker Carlson.
Rachel Maddow?
They're like super close, very close.
Get
In fact,
out.
they go fly fishing together. They're like super tight.
I don't understand that. I
think it's because they don't talk much politics, and they talk about the rest of stuff that the average person talks about in life, and they love to fly fish together.
Wow. Okay, that I was today years old when I learned that.
Yeah.
I did not know
Learn
that.
something new every day. I found that
All right,
on TikTok.
Let's talk about the border for a second, because Tom Homan, how much do you love him? Seriously. Tom Homan
He's
is
the grandpa that you don't want to
badass.
stay with because he scares you.
Oh my God, right? But he's also
I don't want to go to grandpa's
like
house.
really,
He's mean.
but he's a really good grandpa. He's just not, he doesn't give a lot of hugs, but he
No.
loves you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love him. Oh
he
my
would
God.
beat the kid up the street for you.
Oh my God, absolutely. That's why he's so great. And last night, Trump's DHS issued a memo, this is according to Bill Malhusian, that immediately rescinded a 2021 Mayorkas policy, which limited ICE's enforcement by stopping them from making arrests in or around sensitive areas, places like schools, churches, healthcare facilities, etc. And so Trump was like, that's stupid. We're getting rid of that. And now the instruction to ICE officers is to use common sense. And ICE is really happy about this. They're saying that this is going to open things up for their enforcement efforts, and they're going to be able to actually make some progress. And so yesterday, Tom Homan was asked about, you know, he'd been in all these interviews up until the inauguration saying, day one, we're going to start our deportation efforts. And so he was on TV yesterday, and he says they are underway as of right now.
Based on your initial schedule, that today roundups of criminal illegal aliens in the process of deporting them would begin. That seems to have been put on hold for a little while. When can we expect that to happen? Where will it begin?
No, it started.
It is started.
ICE teams are out there as of today. We gave them the direction to prioritize public safety threats that we're looking for. So we've been working up the target list. There was some discussion about Chicago because the specific operational plan was released. So we had to look at and reevaluate, does this raise officer safety concerns? And it does. But we've addressed that, and teams are out there effective today.
And there was somebody on Twitter who said, I can confirm this, as I literally just drove by a very large police presence with ICE agents and guys in flex cuffs right down the road from my office. I thought it was a domestic, but just had confirmation it was a raid. Indeed. Holy shit, it's real. I love this. I couldn't love this any harder.
It is. Everybody's like, look, do I think they should go in churches? No, I don't think it should raid. If somebody you're chasing runs into a school, I don't care if they're illegal, not illegal, for whatever reason, you're chasing them for a reason. That's fine. Do I think they should be raiding schools or running and kicking down doors of churches? No, but if you're a pastor and you're hiding somebody that is actually wanted, especially for a violent crime, we're not talking, and this is what we need to separate. We're not talking about the lady down the street that is making tortillas and their son has a gardening business. We're not talking about that. We're talking about people that have gone through a system where they went to court and they've been told they got to go. or they're here illegally. They didn't even go through the port, or they've broken the law while they're here. We're talking about the lowest hanging fruit that everybody should go, oh yeah, that's a no-brainer.
And everybody does say that. It's like the Democrats ignore the fact that the overwhelming majority of Americans want to get rid of the criminal, violent, illegal aliens. This is a no-brainer for people, and yet they continue to fight it. They just don't understand what people actually want, and they paid the price for it in the election. So suck it, Democrats.
Suck it.
And then lastly, before we always do, I don't know if you did this with Daisy when I was gone, but we do My Pillow TikToks. We show a couple of really cute animal videos or like fun videos, or
well, we did a couple of those, yeah.
Did you? Okay, well, we'll save those for the end.
Videos.
Yeah, so we do have those. But before we get to that, wanted to talk really quickly about the fact that one of the things that Trump also got done in his first day was that we pulled out of the Paris Accords. And this is awesome. China apparently reacted to that news and said China is concerned about the U.S. announcement that it'll withdraw from the Paris Agreement. Climate change is a common challenge facing all of humanity. No country can stay out of it, and no country can be immune to it. China said that.
Talk about gaslighting.
I mean, right? This is crazy.
Now that they're pulling out, we can't pollute anymore and then not get blamed for it.
They are currently building 76% of the world's coal power plants. They are not slowing down on polluting the world at all. And I saw this amazing segment from John Stossel talking about the Paris Accords, because he had on a guest who actually read them and is shining a light on what they actually are and how useless it is. This was really, really eye-opening. Check out this video.
I bet they don't even know what was in the agreement. I didn't.
Paris Accord was somewhere between a farce and a fraud.
Manhattan Institute senior fellow Orrin Cass is one of the few people who've actually read the Paris Agreement, and also the commitment set in by every country.
You don't even have to mention greenhouse gases in your commitment if you don't want to. You send in any piece of paper you want. We're going to staple them all together, and we're going to call that the Paris Accord. Everyone sent in a piece of paper, and they stapled it together and held it up and said, this is amazing.
China has made a major commitment.
So what's in the commitments that every country made?
India has ratified the Paris Climate Accord, committing the world's fastest growing economy to limit carbon dioxide emissions.
What you find is they either pledged to do exactly what they were already going to do anyway, or pledged even less than that. China, for instance, said, we pledge to reach peak emissions by about 2030. Well, the United States government had already done a study to guess when Chinese emissions would peak, and their guess was about 2030.
Peak doesn't mean stop, it just means stop increasing.
That's right. So in fact, China promised they will continue increasing their emissions for some time to come.
And yet,
China was actually one of the better pledges. You know, my favorite was Pakistan, whose pledge was to reach a peak at some point, after which to begin reducing emissions. And so you can staple those together and you can say we now have a global agreement, but what you have is an agreement to do nothing. And if anything, you've gone backwards, because whereas in the past you could have criticized countries and said, hey, why aren't you doing anything? Now we have an agreement that says, in fact, we will applaud you for doing nothing.
We came together around the strong agreement the world needed.
Obviously, President Obama got a lot of political mileage out of that, but the climate didn't get much at all. The one country that showed up in Paris with a very costly, ambitious target was the United States. So President Obama took all the zero commitments from everybody else, but threw in a really expensive one for us. Even if we zeroed out our emissions tomorrow, the future of climate change is still a question of what happens in China and India.
Trump was right to repudiate this phony treaty. Most of us didn't even know how phony it was, but now we do.
That's
I love me some
right.
Stossel.
Right? He's great. He's absolutely great.
It was always a joke, right? And so much of it, it's about money. It's also about all these successful countries going, all right, Africa and a bunch of other places, here's a bunch of money. We feel sorry that we kick your ass and take all your stuff or whatever it is. So take some of this money. You guys go do whatever you want with it. And we're really sorry or not. I mean, that's kind of what it is. I mean, none of it's real.
None of it's real.
And it's all based in feelings. It's all based in feelings, right? And poor Greta Thunberg was probably super excited when she saw that. Now she's like, how dare you ruin my second childhood?
Oh, she's moved on. She's all about free Palestine now.
Oh,
She doesn't care about
absolutely.
climate.
Well, Palestine is the new Birkin bag.
Right.
What are you wearing?
right,
Oh, I'm wearing Palestine. Looks good on you.
Let's get to a few fun things before we close out today's show. Thank you so much for hosting with me, by the way, today. Appreciate it.
I love this. I hosted with the other character, but whatever.
So we have to have dogs. We always have dogs, and this is a dog that thinks it can taste the bacon that's on TV. I mean, is that not the saddest thing ever?
You're not training that dog well, because what happens when you're cooking bacon for real and it thinks it can do that, and then it burns its tongue?
Well, I don't think you would have it with the same accessibility in real life.
That is funny, though. That is
no, I love it.
And I love America's like, you know what? I'm going to film this.
Exactly. This is how it works. There's another dog that is really, really looking forward to getting a bite to eat, but it doesn't look like it's happening in this particular situation. And you gotta love dogs, man.
So awesome. That is so awesome.
Just the best. Now, this next one has nothing to do with dogs, but a guy was filming his wife skiing, and
was she skiing?
What?
Was she really skiing?
Well, she took herself a tumble, and she was literally rolling down this mountain, and dude does not stop filming her. That's what really struck me about this. The whole time I was like, oh my God, is she okay? Look at this. She's literally rolling down.
Oh my God.
Can't stop filming.
Tuck and roll, baby.
Shit.
Hi, babe. You got it. Good.
That was so scary. I mean, at least she's okay.
Love my wife.
At least she's okay, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? They're probably very experienced, and he realizes I can't stop that, and I'm only going to get hurt. So this is going to be great. We're going to get so many likes on this one.
And I'm sure they did. I mean, the fact that it made our show means it's already been like so viral. The fact that it came up in my algorithm, it's already definitely been out there. And then this last one just completely reminded me of me and my husband. So this is a guy, apparently the wife asked the husband, and you probably get these questions from your wife too. Like, what would you take a bullet for me if you had to? It's those kinds of questions. We love asking those. So here's what happened to this fellow.
Love my wife to death, but don't ask questions you don't want answers to. She asked me this morning if I would take a bullet for her. Would I take a bullet for you? Yes, but we both know that you are 100% the reason we're getting shot at in the first place.
Truth.
It's so true. That is exactly my relationship.
Don't even ask the question. You don't know the truth. I saw that comic the other day. He's am I your best friend? He goes, you don't want to know this. You're not even my seventh best friend, to his wife. It's, you don't like fishing. You don't like sports. You don't like to do this. It's like, would I take a bullet? It depends. Because you know what? It could be my wife shooting me. So is that weird that I'm taking a bullet from the gun that you're holding?
I love the one where, have you seen the one where the wife asks the guy, would you punch me in the face for $40 billion? And the guy's like, I would punch you in the face for $40.
40's a little, but 40 billion. By the way, if you don't tell me, you better hit me as hard as you can. We are not friends.
I know, right? I mean, you gotta be able to take the punch for $40 billion.
100%. I would expect you to say, well, we're doing this. We're getting debt free right now. I don't know if this is Ramsey does it, but we're getting debt free.
We do have a couple of thank yous to give out from yesterday. This is Dad Joke Wednesday, and Kelly Wiseman said, happy Dad Joke Wednesday. What do you call a mouse that swears? A cursor. You get it? She said, praying for Amy's hubby and all my love, you jerks. I love that one. And then I think we have another one from Nancy Hunter, who said everyone is worried that President Trump didn't put his hand on the Bible. Maybe he should just take the oath again. Obama took it twice when his oath was messed up. I don't think it matters. I think like he is president. I mean, you know what I mean? Like there's not any question about that. He is president. Everything's
and
fine.
nobody, even the media, is asking. You know who's answering that stuff? Or the conspiracy theorists I've heard about. Well, that's because the British and the royals own him. I mean, the stuff that's going on out there. That's why I didn't touch the Bible.
God.
Oh yeah, it's great. I love
it. Was just because Roberts rushed it and Melania didn't have time and there was like no setup time. That's all. That's all that happened.
Getting over
lots of thank yous to dole out today here in the chat. Shelly Ethington says snow and icy conditions here in Houston have me at home today so I can be here for a Wednesday live. Every cloud has a silver lining. Prayers for Daisy's hubby. Enjoy having Chad sit in. Thank you. Kristen Gates, Dad Joke Wednesday. It's okay to believe in life after love. Share if you agree. Share spelled C-H-E-R. It's okay to believe in life after life. I love that. That's perfect.
Speaking of skiing, how's it going, Sonny?
Evitar Ashkenazi says, wait a minute. There was an executive order for water pressure for showers and toilets. No wonder the last administration had us all in deep shit.
Oh, I like that one.
Andrea Viola says, remove Fauci's Secret Service detail. Secret Service? Is that right?
Yeah, Secret Service.
Yeah, Secret Service detail. He's innocent, right? Yeah, that's a great point. Brian Brumley, I ordered an axe from Canada and it arrived. I got a foreign axe sent.
Oh, look at that one.
Take my money. Dushalia says, taking back petty pisses off the libs. Yeah, but I think that was in reference to the Milley portrait being taken down. And I just don't like that level of petty.
No, I didn't think that's too petty.
Yeah. Jose Rodriguez says, morning from Texas. How many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh? 10 tickles.
Oh!
10 tickles.
Love that.
Laura Kate Baker says, the Democrats are just POS. They are so consumed with TDS. It's insane. Stevie J says the Dems are going to push back hard on Tulsi and RFK Jr. because they see them as traitors for leaving the Democrat Party. It will be months before they get confirmed. God, better not be. That is ridiculous. Evitar again says, JD, look aside like, am I the only one hearing that bullshit? The F you talking about in front of God, biatch? Yeah. JD Vance was the only one that really had a reaction to that.
Well, I mean,
bishop.
In fairness to Trump, he was probably going, did I eat at McDonald's twice yesterday?
Brian Brumley says that woman is a priestess of Moloch. I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
I don't know. It's probably some sort of evil priestess back in the day.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
Elizabeth Boyer says, coworker called him President Musk on Monday. Today made a Nazi salute at me when I got to work. One more time and I will file a harassment complaint. You already should. That is freaking ridiculous. Oh my God. People are just in the workplace. Seriously? Ridiculous. Kristen H says, love to see Chad. Prayers for Daisy and her husband. America is so back.
That's right, baby.
Kelly Basoko, thank you very much for the super sticker. Evitar again says, as a Jew, I felt safer in a Trump rally than on campus. And Dems calling that a Nazi salute and saying that they are against Nazism is so rich. I know that whole issue is just insane. Judy Flackney says Mayorkas sounded like Hamas, churches, schools, hospitals. Craig A says, don't forget to keep Daisy and her husband in thoughts and prayers for his quick recovery. Thank you, guys. And Evitar again says, China is concerned about pollution just like Iran is concerned about the world using nuclear weapons against people. Reality is funnier than fiction. Thank you, guys. Thank you very, very much. And thank you, Chad.
Thank you. I love being here.
Yeah, and we're going to have you again on Friday, so people can look forward to that. Just a reminder to everybody that tomorrow's show will be late. Daisy will be back, but the show time start is going to be 11 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah,
so
Eastern. Use the word Eastern.
We got a little confused about that this morning. Won't happen again. But thank you. Thank you, Chad, for being here. We appreciate it. And to everybody else, we will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.
Thank you.